Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Scarfinger, and I'm back recording another video. I how this is gonna work now. I think because of the kind of what's going on with YouTube and YouTubers right now, it's probably a good idea for me to stick to what I know, which is audio. So 9 times out of 10, I'm going to not do as much stuff visually and take the audio from this video and post it onto the podcast feed because it makes more sense for me and what I do. So I'm going to talk about something on this video, but it's going to be in both places, and that's probably going to be the thing going forward. So if you're on YouTube, hi YouTube. If you're on the podcast feed, hi podcast feed. Let's get this popping. Chris Cornell recently committed suicide, and I have, you know, I I thought about doing this video because I read an article by a gentleman who, I guess he was a former guitarist for the Foo Fighters, and I guess he has some things to say about it. And I kind of felt a certain way about it, especially because the article that I read was kind of lopsided in the view of suicide. So I wanted to record a video because it made more sense to me personally to want to say something um, to you in general about um, suicide and what that person had to say about it. Now, I will start by saying I was not like a huge Chris Cornell fan until a little bit later. I got into rock music later than most. Like a lot of people, I was an MTV kid, and I watched a lot of videos when MTV actually played music. So there was a lot of music that I came across, but after I got to a certain age, I tended to lean a little bit more to the BET side of things, where hip hop became my main focus of the music that I listened to, and I started to walk away from some of the stuff that was happening on MTV. Um, Now, I did go through a phase where I've listened to some stuff, and I've listened to a whole lot of stuff that you probably wouldn't expect from your boy, but it is what it is. Like I'm a huge NSYNC and Backstreet Boys fan. I don't care what you got to say about it. It just kind of happens that way. As for rock music, I didn't actually start listening to rock music until I was a senior in high school. I was doing a project for I had a video and television production class. I was doing a video of some Tekken footage that I recorded on a VCR, and I was just kind of cutting it together as just kind of a side project, something to do, sharpening my skills and such. And I was looking for some music that fit. And a friend of mine gave me a Corn CD, and the Corn song that he suggested actually worked. Well, he gave me the CD. I took it home. I started listening to the music so I can kind of get the editing beats, like how I could do it better. Um, and I really liked it. Before then I really didn't buy a whole lot. And then like in high school when Kurt Cobain died, I know there was a lot of white people that were mad, and I didn't quite understand it. It was just kind of like, okay, the guy died. What's the big deal? I didn't understand uh, what what this side of the music industry meant to the people who care about their side of the music industry. So it was a awakening moment for me, and then I went down the line and I discovered a whole lot of things, including like I really like Metallica, and I'm a little sad that I missed out on some of this stuff when it happens, because like later in my later years, I become a big fan of Stone Temple Pilots, and just that type of stuff, and I missed out on that as it was happening. So I came to rock music a little bit late, and then I really was into new metal, Corn, Biscuit, and a few of those bands around that time, and I didn't actually expand that until I started playing Guitar Hero and Rock Band. I bought Guitar Hero just on a whim. I just happened to have the money that day. Guitar Hero 2 came out for the 360. I said, why not? And from then I've bought a lot of the Guitar Heroes, and I've bought all of the rock bands, all of the main rock bands. I didn't buy Lego Rock Band, and I didn't buy like the Green Day and stuff like that. Even though I did play the Beatles, I rented the Beatles and I played through it and sent it back. Um, so I don't have the kind of emotional resonance that a lot of people have when it comes to Chris Cornell. I believe Chris Cornell was very unique in his sound and the feeling that he conveyed when he sang. And there's songs from from Soundgarden, from Audio Slave, which the article, the guy from the Foo Fighters said that Audio Slave was he just said that he didn't like it. I'll read the article in a second. He said he didn't like it, which there were songs that I really liked on Audio Slave's album, and it was mostly due to Chris Cornell. Like, it made sense. And then Chris Cornell made the album with Timbaland, which I thought was just a very odd pairing, but I really enjoyed it. One, because I'm a Timbaland fan, and two, because of their collaboration. I think that they collaborated, and what they did was done really well. And so, like, since his passing, I've gone back to that album, which is called Scream, which I know it's not one of his most liked things, but it's the thing of his that I like the most. Outside of a couple of Audio Slave songs, there's a couple of Soundgarden songs that I really like, but I really, really like Scream. That was the name of the album that he did with Timbaland, and his fans hated it. There was pressure from him, and they made a rock version of the Timbaland album, which is kind of hard to get because it should have never been made in the first place. Just accept the artist for his his artistic freedom. But I really like it, and I've been listening to it pretty much since he passed, because I was reminded of it with his passing. And I had to go find it because I had it on a hard drive somewhere, and I didn't, I had no idea where it was. So I had to go find it. And, then it comes to the fact of he himself. Now, I don't know what he himself was feeling. But I know what it's like. I know what it's like to feel at the end, and I'll go over that in a second. So, this guy wrote an article. I mean, this guy wrote a post. He released a statement saying, just talking about the suicide itself. So I'm going to read the article, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it and how I feel about the whole suicide thing and all of that. So it says, wow, I find it very sad as a father to see all these sad eulogies for your fallen, kept rock stars, where the real sadness is what so selfishly left behind, his children. They are forever now without a father, a pillar of love, safety, strength, guidance. You want to off yourself because you're incapacitated or brain dead, shitting yourself, and a burden to everyone, so be it. But think of your kids and how fucked up it would all be now. Now, I loved Soundgarden, but Audio Slave was fucking Lamesville. But does all that really matter to his kids? They just want to see your face when you got home, to hear your voice, to feel your hugs, to borrow the fucking car to go to In-N-Out Burger. Thanks, Dad. And a lot of people were upset by this. I don't know. Okay, I understand that the first thing that people say when you start talking about suicide is that it's selfish. And me, myself, until I started having my own personal issues with depression and feeling that way sometimes, I felt this, before then, I felt the same. Like, committing suicide is selfish. But going through my own problems, and, I changed a little bit. And by changing, I understand what people are going through, and just say, and now I don't necessarily say that it's selfish, only because I really want to be PC, a little bit PC about it. But here's the truth: I suffer from depression. Sometimes I could be feeling like everything is okay, everything's gonna be fine. I can be optimistic, I can be happy, I can be happy, I can be satisfied, I can be a whole lot of things, and then all of that stuff can crash. And it's not because anything happened, it's just me, how I'm feeling about myself and my situation and my lot in life. And that stuff can make me feel really, really bad. And in a sense, I'm in a state of pain. And sometimes that pain goes away, especially if you're able to talk it out. Like, I do have a therapist. I haven't seen her in a while because she's in Newport News and I'm in Richmond. But sometimes it can go away if you can talk about it, or if you have people around you that you can talk to, and just kind of get all of this stuff out and get off you, and get good advice on things that you can do about it. And sometimes you don't have those things, and you just feel like everything is crashing, everything is failing. You are not, you're not good enough, like, and you shouldn't be here, and you don't want to be here. And that's not something that you can just flip a switch and just say, okay, I'm okay now. That's not how this works. So on one level, I understand the people that say it's not selfish, because you are, when you're in that situation, the only thing you really are trying to do is get that pain to stop. Like, for however, like, feeling like that for a decent amount of time can just fill you with such, I can't quite explain it. It just fills you with such just dread, and it's so emotionally painful that in some cases it becomes physically painful. And the only thing that you want to do is just to make it stop. So you think about just ending yourself, because that will just make it all go away. And in the moment, that's all you're thinking about. Now, whenever I'm in those situations, one of the first things that whoever I'm talking to will tell me is, think about your daughter and what she's going to have to go through without you. The life that she's going to have to she's going to have to lead because you left her. And this is basically what this guy had to say, Franz Stahl. What he had to say is the exact same thing that people would tell me when I'm feeling there, except for the only problem with this is he said it after the fact. But he's not wrong. In fact, I don't believe either side is wrong. I believe that it can be both. Like, suffering depression and all of this stuff, it can make you feel like the only thing you can do is to end it for yourself. And it can also be selfish when you're not thinking about what you're going to leave behind, and how the people, especially your children that you leave behind, how they're going to have to pick up the pieces after you tear them all to pieces with your passing that you chose for yourself. I think in our culture, we have to say that suicide is one thing or the other, and the culture tries to lead you down the side of it's not selfish. But I think that it can be both, and I think that it should be okay to say it's both. The fact that, yes, it's not selfish for me. It's not selfish when I'm feeling this way and I just want my pain to end. But it's selfish because I'm not thinking. The selfish part of it is I'm not thinking about the people who have to pick up and figure out how to live their lives without me. If I decide to do something like that. Um, it can be both, and it should be both, and it should be called both. If he didn't have children, I don't think that anyone, and I think you could just say that it's just it's sad that his life got to that. And really, we only say this about famous people. We don't really say this about regular people who commit suicide. We say this about famous people because on some level we feel like we know them, but the truth is we don't. And until something like this happens, you don't know what these people are going through. I'm pretty sure the people near them do, but you don't really know what these people are going through. And that's it's real. And what's happening to these people is real, and it needs to be treated like something real. But you don't have to be one way or the other. This is not a liberal versus conservative. It's not a Christian versus atheist. It's not anything. Um, what happened here as is a person that was in pain and thought the best thing that he could do was to end it. And that's a sad way to be, but it's a place where there's a few people that I know of that's been there. And it's also selfish, um, because not thinking about your children and what's going to happen to them when they have to pick up after what happens when you decide to end your pain. You just created more pain for them. And in that instance, it's selfish. And it should be treated as such. It should be treated as both. All right, I think that's it for me. Comments in the comments. Sitting up, holla at your boy. It's your boy Scarfinger. I don't think I should say anything else. I'm out of here. Peace.